right? What's your name? Conway. And okay, and the problem, and what is the name of the guy? And I said, well, the guy's name is O. Doug O? I said, well, yes, as a matter of fact. And the deputy said, oh, really? Oh. I said, I was kind of hoping that maybe if nobody here had anything else to do, that maybe you could, like, go with me when I went to visit Mr. O with my papers. And the deputy said, I'm not busy. I said, so let's go. So, I got in my car, the deputy got in his squad car, and we started driving through town. This is infuriating. When you're driving behind a police car in a 25-mile-an-hour zone, it's like... See, I'm a native Philadelphian. Doing the speed limit is akin to a cardinal sin. It's true. It's true. I know some people from Jersey. Ever driven on the Jersey Turnpike? Anything traveling less than 60 miles an hour is classified as a building. Yeah, you know him, Mr. Patterson. So the address that I knew for this guy that I had for his business was something like number 210 Main Street. We'll just call it 210 Main Street, okay? So we get to Main Street, and we parked our vehicles, and we went down these little storefronts, very quaint little, town out in the west. And, out west. New west.
Western?
No, out west. It's out west. That sounds good. A little quaint town out west. Yeah, we'll go with that. So we start walking down. I want to know what the sign for ching. We went to 210. He just signed Sam as being a jackass again, didn't he? I know that one. I love you, babe. And I love you too, Sam. I really wish I could go back to your hotel room with you. He's gonna murder me. Where was I? Oh, yes, number 210 Main Street. It's a boarded up storefront. But there's a little sign on the front that said, delivery is to 210, please go out back. And the deputy said, well, maybe we should go out back. I said, you're the cop, let's do it. So we went out back. We went around back, and there were no numbers on the doors, just door. So I picked one that looked like it was probably 210, and I knocked on it. And this very, very charming young lady answered. I said, excuse me, miss, is this number 210? And she said, yes. I said, oh, I must have the wrong establishment. I was actually looking for Mr. O. And she said, Doug O? I said, yes, as a matter of fact. She said, is he still using this as his business address? He hasn't been here for 2 years. I looked at the deputy, and I looked at the lady. I said, well, I'm very sorry to bother you, ma'am. I'm afraid we've wasted your time. You've been very kind. And she said, well, wait, I might have something that might help. And she ran in the back, and she came out with this big rolled-up blueprint, and she unrolled it for us. And we looked at it, and it was the blueprint of the office that Doug O had submitted to redecorate it when he had moved in those many years ago. And it had his name and an address. And the deputy looked and said, that's a residential address. I said, is it? I said to the deputy, are you busy? He said, I still got nothing to do. I said, let's go. drove out to this address. We got to the end of a cul-de-sac. I wish I could implant the mental image in your mind of the palatial estate that we saw. The house was from here on. It had like 6,000 rooms, 4,300 bedrooms, 29,000 bathrooms, big built-in swimming pool, terrace lawn, 4-car garage, and a giant one of these, fifth-wheel travel trailers that was more expensive than my damn PhD sitting in the driveway. And the deputy scowled, and he said, "The guy's like a goddamn drug dealer." I said, "Oh, no, drug dealers work for their money." So we went up and we knocked on the door. I couldn't help noticing that the deputy kept doing this. We knocked on the door, and a young chap, a teenager-ish sort, opened, and he said, "Yes, can we help you?" And I said, "Yes, is this the Doug O residence?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Well, is Mr. O here?" And he said, "Well, no, he's not. May I ask what this is about?" I said, "Oh, well, it's just I imagine you're Mr. O's, you're his, and the kid said, "I'm his son." I said, "Yes, you're his son. I learned that from the media." "Oh, you're his son. Well, your father and I, we had an appointment for breakfast this morning, and he didn't show up. I just wanted to make sure everything was okay." He said, "Well, I think it is." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, when do you expect him home?" The boy said, "I don't know." I said, "Oh. Incidentally, you are over 18, yes?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Oh, great. You wouldn't mind giving this piece of paper to your father, would you? And I guess you also wouldn't mind signing this one that says I gave it to you?" That's a good fellow, aren't you, sweet? Thank you very much. So I looked, and the deputy was walking along. We got to the street, and he suddenly perked up. He went, "Would you like to file a fraud complaint?" I said, "Well, I actually already spoke to the police in this town. I don't know if that constitutes a formal fraud complaint." He said, "Well, who did you speak to?" I said, "Officer Cop. I don't remember." And he said, "Well, let me call in a city." I said, This is a sheriff's deputy. He's a county man. He handles the orders of the court. The criminal matters are handled by the police, the actual city police. So he called in a city police officer, and the city police officer came up. So now I got 2 cruisers in front of the house. And we walked up to the city police officer's window, and the deputy said, this is Mr. Conway. He's here to see Mr. O." And the police officer said, "Doug O?" And the deputy said, "Yes, as a matter of fact." So we told him the story, and it was funny because the police officer went tappity, tappity, tappity on his little computer they give him so he can play solitaire when he's, on break. And it comes up, "O, comma, Doug," and then bold letters, "Shady business practices." So they were saying, "Do you remember which officer you spoke to?" And I said, "No, I don't." Oh, wait. I got an email from that officer. Let me run back to my rental car. My cell phone's in there. I'll get the cell phone, and I'll see who the officer was I spoke to. So I did that, and I went and I sat in my car, and I'm like, "Okay, need coverage. Out, 500 miles from Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm sure I can get 4G out here somewhere." But this is a state that has only one telephone, remember? And as I was looking at this, down the street in the distance came this monstrous giant Cadillac Escalade stretching from curb to curb. And it pulled up and slowed down, seeing these two cruisers in the cul-de-sac. And the deputy went to the passenger side window, and he stood up, and I saw him at the passenger side window, talk to the person, and nod in my direction. I went, The Escalade slowly pulled past these cars, went into the 4-car garage, and the door closed. And I hopped out of the car, and I said to the deputy, So I walked up to the end of the driveway and just stared at the house. I got all day. I'm enjoying this. After some time, a door opened and an older gentleman came out holding that same piece of paper. And I said, Doug, is that you? Because you see, I figured the thick Philadelphia accent would really serve me well right now. And he said, yes, that's me. I said, oh yeah, I'm Sam Kage with Anthrocon. You missed our appointment this morning. I wonder if maybe we could, have a little man-to-man talk here. And he started walking toward me and he said, what are these gentlemen doing here? And I turned around and both the police officers going, thank you, Pops. I said, oh yeah, these guys, they found out I was a visitor and they just was afraid I was going to get lost on the way here, but that's neither here nor there. I'll tell you what, you're a busy guy, let's just get right down to the bottom. He owes me money and I want it, okay? And he said, well, you tried to cancel the order and we were going to send this, Doug, wait, I'll tell you what, I'm going to save the time, all right? I'm just going to say this once. I got fucking doctor in front of my name. Don't dick with me. I'm smarter than you, okay? It's so much fun! I said, okay, I'm going to make you a deal, okay? This is real easy. You see, you might notice the judge, he gave me all the money that you're gonna owe me for coming out here, including all my travel expenses. But I'm just really into all this beautiful, mountains and stuff you got out here. Here's the deal I'm gonna make you. I'm just gonna hold you to the principal amount that you owe to my organization. My organization. The rest of it, I'll let you go on, all right? You give me back what you owe to Anthrocon, and the rest we'll just call it square, okay? How's that? He said, well, that sounds fair. I said, yeah, it is. He said, well, give me your bank account information. I'll wire the money to you. I said, yeah, right. Okay, I got a better idea. Suppose you get me a check. One of those certified checks, right? And you just send that to me through the mail. I recommend that you get a tracking number for it, so you can tell me when it's coming. And he said, well, certainly I'll do that. I said, yeah, when? He said, I can have it by the 22nd. Okay, yeah, great. The 22nd of this month. October 22nd, 2016. Okay, all right. Mail times and everything, okay. I'm feeling generous today. You get it to me by the 31st, and we'll just call it square. Okay, how's that? Get it to me by the end of this month, and that's gonna be the end of it, all right? How's that? He said, okay, great, deal. I said, put that thing away. Yeah, whatever. And he went back into the house, and I went back to the cruisers. The police officer was sitting behind the wheel like this. And the cop said, oh, let's hope so. I said, yeah, I think, all right. But he kind of did this wide turnaround, and as he did, I just did this. I said my goodbyes to my new friends, the deputy and the police officer. And I waited. The end of the month came and went. Are you surprised? I sent an email. I said, yo, Doug, I was kind of expecting to have him, I even wrote in that accent. I was kind of hoping to have money by now, but we had us an agreement. You did not an agreement. I'm going to have to ask you for all of it now, okay? He didn't write back. Now, the internet is a strange and wild and dangerous place, full of pitfalls and dangers. But if one knows what one is doing, one can find out little details like, oh, the business number Duggo is using currently. So I did. And I called that. And a young lady answered. Hello, this is Enterprises. I said, yes, I'd like to speak to Doug. And she said, may I ask who's calling? Okay, there's one or two ways I can do this. I said, okay, we're gonna play it straight. I said, yeah, tell him it's Sam Conway with Anthrocon. ANT'Rocon. I got put on hold. I must have been on hold for 2 full minutes. They're playing like the girl from Ipanema on the hold music here. He didn't pick up on it. You're better. So anyway, so finally I get Doug's voicemail. This is Doug O. Please leave a message. I said, yo, Doug, it's your buddy Sam with Anthrocon. I kind of wondered if you got my email. Just checking. Bye. It could not have been 60 seconds later that I got a furious, all-caps email from Doug O saying, I told you you would get your money. Don't ever call me again. I wrote back, but Doug, I like talking to you. I don't want this to affect our friendship. But if that's how you feel, all you gotta do is give me the money and I swear I'll never talk to you again. And he wrote back, strangely, I'm gonna tell you one more time. I will get you the money. The more you try to contact me, the more it will delay getting you the money. Never call me again. This is a cease and desist, blah, blah, blah. So I wrote back, oh, Doug, I worry that this is affecting our relationship. I got an idea. I'll tell you what. I'm going to be coming back to Utah in about 3 weeks. Let's be buds about this. I'm going to be visiting some friends of mine. Why don't we come over to your place? We're going to come over, kick back, open a few beers, invite that young son of yours. He looks like a fine young man. Don't give me, I was pissed off. Don't give me that shit, okay? Where were you when I needed you? He didn't answer that. So I thought, it's time to call a lawyer. Now, I called up a legal service in Utah. You go to the internet, your legal services in Utah. Religious law. Oh, yes, here it is. And I found one that was, you know, this, and that. And I called up and I said, I have a case. I've got a default judgment. He hasn't paid me the money. I want him to pay me the money. Can you help me? And the lawyer man said, oh, absolutely, yes, we handle those kinds of cases all the time. We have to have a retainer. Basically, you give me a bunch of money, and then I have the money. Now I belong to you, and I'm your bitch, and I'm going to do everything you want. Down the front side. So I sent him the bitch money, and I said, okay, let's get down to brass tacks. What is the name of the person who owes you the money? I said, well, the name is O. So, he got off the phone, and after a little while later, he came up and said, okay, there's a couple things we can do. First, we could put a lien on his house. That way he can't sell his house until he pays you. I said, yeah, that could be 35, 40 years in the future. I kind of want the money now. He said, well, okay. We could have an order sent to him to appear for a supplementary hearing where he'll have to explain to the judge why he hasn't paid you. I said, yeah, but son of a bitch didn't show up for the first one. What makes me think he's going to show up for the second one? The lawyer said, well, we can get a writ of execution where we start seizing and selling his personal property to pay off the debt. I said, that's the one. He said, first we have to go through a discovery phase. We have to find out what his personal property is. I said, there's a fucking big travel trailer in his front driveway. And they said, but does he own it? I don't know. The lawyer said, okay, I will contact the Department of Motor Vehicles and we will find out if he owns that travel trailer. If it's in his name, we can then proceed. Okay, about 4 days later, the lawyer called me up and said, okay, I have a good news, bad news sort of thing. That travel trailer is not in his name, it's in his wife's name. It doesn't legally belong to him. I said, okay, that must be the bad news. What's the other stuff? He said, well, here's what Doug O does own. He owns a Kawasaki motorcycle, a Ford Ranger, a Cadillac Escalade, a Porsche 911, and a Lamborghini. Yeah, ma'am, I'm here for the Lamborghini, okay? And she said, oh, we sold it. Did you now? All right, how about the Porsche? She said, we sold that too. The constable said, okay, you can tell me you sold that Cadillac Escalade, the one I saw you driving in yesterday morning? And she said, no, that's in the repair shop. And the constable said, give me the address of the repair shop. So she did, and he went driving. About 5 minutes later, his cell phone rang, and it was Doug O. See, I can only speculate that Doug got a phone call from his wife saying, I just lied to estate official, is that bad? Because Doug said, my wife misspoke. When she said we sold the Lamborghini, she meant to say we had not sold the Lamborghini. Constable said, where is it? And Doug O said, it's in my garage. The constable said, I'll meet you there, get the keys. But when the constable arrived, Doug O had $1,000 cash in his hand and gave it to the constable. And that's when the lawyer stopped to take a breath. I said, yeah. And the lawyer said, well, he has made an attempt to pay. So we're going to give him until next Thursday to pay in full. I'm like, no! Yeah, I know, you know lawyers are shitheads, so present company excluded, possibly. So I waited until Thursday, and I got a call from the lawyer. And the lawyer said, okay, Mr. Conway, I don't go by doctor, that's for grannies and shit. He said, Mr. Conway, Doug showed up at our office with another $5,000 and said he could have the rest by next Friday. Is that okay with you? And I said, no. No, are you kidding? No! I'd give this guy every damn break in the book. I'm not giving him any more. I want that constable out there, and I want him to collect everything he can. I want him to take the Lamborghini, the Porsche, take that kid for all it's got to get. I want him! In pieces. Sorry. Monday arrived, and the lawyer called, and he said, you do understand, Mr. Conway, that to collect all those vehicles and everything is going to cost you a lot of money. And I said, I don't care. I don't care what the hell it costs. I want to see his balls frying on the sidewalk. That's not exactly what I said. Actually, yes, it is. The next day, the lawyer called back and said, I told Mr. O he can have till Friday. I said, and that lawyer man shut me down with this question. I have to ask Mr. Conway, am I representing Anthrocon or am I representing you? And I said, fuck! By Friday, all the money was paid. But you know, I had to pay $1,000 plus to that lawyer to collect that judgment. It's only $150 in a 2-page form. Maybe there'll be more of the story next year. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, my humble hour is up. I must quit this stage in about 15 minutes. Anthrocon tonight will be on the same stage. I hope you all take advantage of that 15 minutes to go, take a leak, please, in the bathroom where it belongs. I want to thank all of you for your kind attention. I definitely want to thank Alkali, Bismuth, and Pandez, and the amazing Fox some more. Interpreters who have made this accessible to folks who might otherwise not have used Pandez. Good, he's doing it right. What? I'll tell you what, bring up the house lights so these people can go out and take a pee. Since we have to quit this stage. Oh, hi Pandez, I didn't see you. I'm sorry. Hey, how are you, buddy? Happy Canada Day, eh? Guys, we're going to go out in the concourse. You want to talk to us out there, but we're coming right back in here for Anthrocon tonight in about 15 minutes. Thank you all very much. You guys rock.